Hey, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project. Just before I get you to our interview, I just wanted to point out that this was recorded on a live Facebook video. Now, the plus side of that is you get to ask questions and get answers from your favourite pageant queens. Unfortunately, the downside, being in Australia with our slightly dodgy internet, is that you may hear some audio crackling in the background, and I've actually contacted the people that do our software. There's nothing they can do about it. It's just because Australia is so far from everywhere, so I apologise for that slight loss in audio quality. But if you can put up with that, I do think the flip side is well worth it. So without further ado, let's get you to our interview. Hi everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I am here with Savannah Miles, who is Miss Georgia Teen USA 2018. Savannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, I guess, there.
Yes, it's an early morning here, which is why I told you I needed a cup of coffee. Now, let me start by saying, if you have any questions for Savannah, leave them below in the Facebook comments, and I'll make sure that we circle back around to them. But Savannah, can we start with where you are? This looks like a hotel room, is it?
Yes. Well, I'm at my mom's office. I'm in New York, so I'm here for the week. So we made a little make-do studio for ourselves.
That looks amazing. I actually spent literally 24 hours in New York to do 2 interviews. That weather looks really, really nice.
Oh, it's beautiful out. Not too hot, not too cold. So perfect.
Okay, now, Savannah, obviously there are going to be more than a few Australian viewers, and then I also noticed a lot of people from everywhere jumped in and said how lovely you were, which is, I mean, we had people from Australia who seemed to know you, from the UK. I did interview Lauren Parkinson, who's Miss Grand Wales. So you seem to have a huge support group everywhere. But I guess maybe for just myself, but also our Australian viewers, can you give us an idea of how big so Miss Teen USA is? Because I get the feeling, and I've been told this by my marketing person who may be watching, that Miss Teen USA is mammoth, like huge compared to anything we have here in Australia. So can you give us an idea of what went into winning your title?
Right. So the way that Miss Teen USA works is that you have preliminaries. So you have a bunch of smaller pageants that would be like cities. So like Miss Atlanta or Miss Georgia South. I was Miss Georgia South. And then you go to a state level. And so that's where you have Georgia or New York. All the states, there's 51. And then we compete at Miss Teen USA, which is kind of like Miss Universe, but for teenagers. So it's a very big deal. Everyone, that's like the title you want to be. It is like the big one you want. And so it's huge, and it's so incredible that I get to be part of this family. So
there, if I'm hearing you right, then there's another competition coming up for actual Miss Teen USA.
Well, no, there's no Miss Teen Universe, but I guess Miss Teen USA is like equivalent because it's the same time, just for teenagers.
And when is that coming up?
So Miss Teen USA was in May.
Oh, it was in May. Okay. So you can, that sounds huge. We definitely don't have cities here. We don't have competitions in cities here in Australia. Can you give us an idea of your pageant experience so far, or was this the first one that you competed in?
So I actually started competing when I was about 11. My mom competed in the 80s. And so I always grew up getting to see her photos. And I always told her that I was going to be Miss Georgia one day. Like that was a running joke of the family, that I was going to be the pageant girl. And I don't think anyone really believed me. And so I started when I was 11. I wasn't very good. I just did my local high school level and just really had fun with it. And that's why I fell in love with it. I started in the Miss America organization first. I started as an outstanding teen, and I loved my time there. I think it taught me so much. I actually competed for Miss Georgia Teen USA twice, and my first year I only made the top 15, and then I knew what I had to work on. I came back and I won Miss Georgia Teen USA.
Yeah, you said the running joke was that you were going to win Miss Georgia, so you actually haven't won that yet. So is that joke still ongoing then?
It's still going to happen. It's a dream come true. We'll see it soon.
So can you give us an idea of how your life has changed. As I said, my head of marketing here said that pageants, and I knew this, pageants in America are a much bigger deal here than in Australia. There are a lot of people here, for example, who, if I say there's a beauty pageant going on, will actually be surprised. So how has your life changed since winning this title?
For sure. It opened so many doors. I know that, holding Miss Georgia Teen USA, Georgia is such a large state. And so I've been able to travel all around it. And the way that people, I guess, in the United States view pageants is it's so respectable here. And so when you're a girl that competes in pageants, you know that she is a respectable and intelligent woman. And so to have a title behind you is kind of like a validation. And so being Miss Georgia Teen USA, it's recognized throughout the United States. So it's been an incredible experience. I have really found it very strange, I guess, to kind of be like a star to some people. I can just be eating dinner with my family and someone will come up to me and be like, aren't you that girl from Georgia who's a pageant queen? And they're just like stars in their eyes when they see girls that hold a title. So it's an incredible platform to have and to inspire people on.
Wow, that's amazing for me to hear, because that certainly doesn't happen here in Australia, not even to our national titleists. So it's obviously a much bigger deal in America. How often does that, when they interrupt your dinner, what do they ask for? A photo? Do they ask for an autograph? What do they do?
Kind of a little bit of everything. They all want to know if I have my crown and sash with me, which most times I don't. But there have been a few times that I have it in my purse, and so they get a little photo opportunity with them wearing the crown. So it's a very fun moment. And
just an idea, I don't expect you to have it there, but how big is this crown?
It's actually pretty small. I've seen some people, like the one from Wales, her crown is huge. Our crown is pretty small. It's wearable, so we wear it out in the world, you could say. Big size, I think. It's about
That sounds good. I've seen a photo with you with it on. So was it that one, the photo that I had up before?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. It looks lovely. Can you tell us more? And again, this is probably mainly for my benefit, but I'm sure also Australia's benefit, Australian viewers. Tell us more about your state, because I was trying to look it up and I kept coming up with Georgia, Russia, which is obviously not what we're talking about here. But I also saw peaches in there. So can you tell us more about Georgia, and is there something to do with Georgian peaches?
Yes. So Georgia is known as the peach state. We produce the most peaches in the world, I guess. And actually my hashtag for Miss Teen USA was #Crown the Peach. So that was kind of like our marketing plan this whole time. We love our peaches in Georgia, and they say that our girls are even sweeter. So it's kind of like the running Georgia joke.
And what else can you tell us about Georgia? Because as I mentioned to you before, I think Georgia was in the path of that huge storm, wasn't it?
Right. Hurricane Florence is currently hitting the East Coast. Georgia's only impacted on the Savannah side. So we have a little area called Savannah, which is basically our beaches. And that's being impacted, but the state of Georgia, the majority of it isn't being impacted except for Savannah. So,
right. And what else can you tell us about your state? So we know peaches, and we know there are beaches. I'm not trying to rhyme. But what else can you tell us about your home state for us who've never been there?
For sure. So I would say that it's a perfect mix of a city, and also you have a little bit of country there. We have a home of Coke. So I don't know if you have Coca-Cola. I'm sure you do.
No, there's no country that doesn't have Coke. You're the home of Coke, are you?
Atlanta has the Coca-Cola Museum in it. So it's this huge thing where you can try Coke from all over the world. So it's a very cool place to be. But no, Georgia, we're known for our hospitality. We're Southern there, so everyone loves some Southern girls. So Georgia's the perfect place to be. Whoever hasn't come to it, I'd come.
And I will just say, okay, so I'm looking at the Facebook now, which is why I'm looking to the side, Savannah. Beverly C. Morgan has just written an emoji with hearts in her eyes. And Melissa Brown has written, "Love you, Savannah Miles." So,
oh, I love them. They're so sweet.
Do you know who they are, or are they just random fans?
No, I do. Beverly is actually my aunt, and Melissa Brown actually owns a pageant here in the United States.
Oh, cool. Okay, what pageant does she own?
She owns A&M, which is America's National Miss. I was actually the reigning teen before I won Miss Georgia Teen USA. So it's a very fun pageant to be a part of, and it's a huge sisterhood. So I still have those sisters that follow me and love on me, even though I don't hold the title anymore.
Great. And I'm going to say again, guys, if you have any questions for Savannah, leave them below. Otherwise, I'll keep peppering her with questions about Georgia because I know nothing about anything. Pamela Lee Urbina has written "Love Ya" with a heart. Julia Hale has written "Love You, Girl," and Pamela Lee has also written #Orlando Buddy.
Yes. So me and Pam. So in Orlando, they had the pageantry shoot. So also, I'm not sure, in the United States, we have a magazine called Pageantry Magazine. And so I actually went and shot with them about 3 weeks ago. It was a week-long shoot in Orlando, and wow. We just had on beautiful pageant gowns that'll be featured in the magazine throughout this year.
That sounds like a really hard job, flying somewhere in nice gowns and having a photo shoot for a week. I don't know how you... Can you give us an idea as to what an average day looks like? I'm sure not every hour of your day is, pageant glam and easy, and everyone I've spoken to has had their own hurdles. But can you give us an idea of what maybe an average week in the life of you is like?
For sure. Well, I'm constantly traveling, so I am in Georgia as much as I can be, but I've always found myself here in New York. I have a heart for traveling, so me and my mom, we really go everywhere. So where I am just depends on the day. A day in the life, I'm online schooled, so I don't go to real high school. I do it on my computer, so I have the flexibility to kind of live my day as I need to. I just recently signed with a modeling agency in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm starting that up. So hopefully my life will steer me in that direction where my days are full with that. But it also, there's so many appearances I have as Miss Georgia Teen USA, like reading at schools and being invited to so many amazing events throughout the state. So attending all of those is part of my everyday and every week routine.
Can you give us an idea as to how many appearances there are? Because I think the Aussie girls would love just to get a comparison. So how many appearances would you be doing like in a month?
In a month? Probably about like 20 appearances a month. They're quite a yes. And they range from everything from like galas to just going to preschools. So, I mean, you get invited everywhere. It's recognizable throughout the genres. So it's a lot of different really cool things to be partnerships with.
Oh, gee. I mean, I keep coming back to this, but 20 a month, that's almost one every weekday of the month. That's, I mean, an Australian beauty queen would be considered busy if they're doing one every weekend. So this is on a scale, obviously, it's different over there. Savannah, can you tell us where you might see yourself in a couple of years, in a few years, or are you just busy enjoying life as it comes? I mean, you said you're online school, you just signed with a modeling agency. So is there a certain plan, or is it just, I'm really happy where I am at the moment, I'm just going to take it one day as it comes?
Right. Well, I think it's kind of a mixture of both. I'm a firm believer to live in the moment, but I am graduating high school this year, so I will be going off to college next year. So I hope to attend Lindenwood, which is in Missouri, where I hope to go into pre-med to become an anesthesiologist. So that's kind of where my path is heading. And I also hope to continue pageantry and modeling. Hopefully you'll see me on the Miss USA stage one day.
Why an anesthesiologist? That's an interesting one.
Right. Well, my personal platform is childhood cancer awareness, and I've really been able to work within my year as Miss Georgia Teen USA. And I realized that an anesthesiologist doesn't just do what you kind of comes to your mind about putting them to sleep before surgery. They're actually used for cancer treatments and help making it manageable in the pain management. So I want to go into that mainly for children, but we'll see where it goes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you lost a childhood friend to cancer. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. So my personal platform is Cooper's Crew. That's like the official name for it. One of my friends, Cooper, who my mom and his mom were best friends growing up. So they were really like part of our family. He passed away when I was 13 from a rare form of cancer called clear cell sarcoma. And it's a cancer that affects your clear white blood cells. And it's extremely rare and even rarer in children. So, I decided that whenever I lost him, I could either let it define me or I could take it and let it reinvent me. And so I took it, and that's when I really started taking pageantry seriously, because I saw it as a platform to really get involved with this and to reach out to other people who are going through this. So I've been so thankful to work with the Children's Miracle Network hospitals and my own personal platform, Cooper's Crew, to kind of bring out his legacy.
Sure. Now let me just go over to here. Okay, so Melissa Brown has asked, what did it feel like to make the top 10 at Miss Teen USA?
Right. Well, I worked incredibly hard to compete at Miss Teen USA. Literally, it took over my life. And every day I was working out, I was doing interview prep, I was doing everything I could. And I prepared myself to the best of my abilities to compete at Miss Teen USA. And so to kind of get recognition for that and to make the top 10, that was kind of like every little girl's dream. Mm-hmm. That's where I went to Miss Teen USA for the last 3 years, and I sat in the audience. And whenever the top 10 would get announced, I would be on the edge of my seat to actually be standing on the stage and waiting for my name to be called. That was an experience I really can't put into words other than just pure joy and gratefulness. That's all you can really say about it.
It must be amazing to go from crowd one year to top 10 on the stage the next year.
It was super fun.
Okay, so Gerald Dampier has written Yas Queen with the emoji and a fire emoji. Melissa Brown has also asked, are any other pageants in your future?
For sure. I give pageants so much credit for building me into the woman I am, and I love the woman I'm becoming, and I want pageantry to definitely be a part of that. So lots of pageants coming up for me. I'm not putting away my crown and my heels anytime soon. So we will see where I end up.
I have to say that, I mean, you're in high school. I've never met anyone in high school who speaks as well as you do. So is this a natural talent that you have? I'm sure pageants have helped with that, but how are you able to speak so well? You haven't said once. You haven't any of those sorts of things, and all your answers seem to be well thought out, and you're speaking complete sentences. How have you managed to do this?
Well, I've grown up with my mom working in the corporate world. She works for Avon, the makeup company. So I'm kind of like the Avon baby. I've grown up going to conferences and really just being a little voice of the company. And so it's definitely come naturally, I guess. I have a really bubbly personality just in person. And so that definitely translates when I'm talking. But the pageants have definitely allowed me to kind of really understand more of a science about it, I guess you could say. And really just being able to control an interview, that's what I've learned through pageantry, and it's definitely helped me grow. But the seed was definitely planted by my mom and the Avon company.
Control an interview. This is interesting. Tell me more about the controlling of the interview.
Yeah. So this was a skill I learned not very long ago, probably a couple years ago, but it has been so beneficial to me. To control an interview, there's certain things you want to talk about in an interview, certain key aspects you want to bring up and you want the judges to know. And sometimes when the judges are asking questions, they're sometimes just on one specific subject. And so learning how to control an interview is being able to take a subject and bring it to a subject you want to talk about that not necessarily it correlates with, but just being able to pull different things into what you really want to make it. So that's a skill that was hard to learn for me, but once I got it down, it's something I love doing and I really find beneficial in interviews.
I think that's a very valuable skill. You might be able to teach that and pass it on to some of your fellow queens. Savannah, what's the favorite part of pageants for you?
Right. There's so much, that I love about pageantry. I for sure love wardrobe. I don't really have a fashion icon, but I think you should consider yourself somewhat of a fashion icon. So I always love going out and finding kind of like the craziest fashion that girls are normally afraid to wear in the pageant world and just kind of rocking it, making it my own. That's something I love to do, and I will definitely continue doing.
Perfect. Okay, so Julia Hale has asked, what do you do in your downtime? I'm going to take a guess and say you don't have much downtime. If you're anything like the other pageant queens that I've interviewed, they're like, no, I don't have free time. But I guess, what do you do in downtime?
Yeah, so in my downtime, I watch a lot of Netflix. I love Netflix. I'm a huge movie goer, but I really just spend time with my family. I really find that as my strength. So I kind of go back to them as my like meeting point. So whenever I feel overwhelmed or sometimes my head is getting too big, my family's the one who pulls me back in and kind of gratifies me. So definitely spending time with my family. I have a 4-year-old niece who will be Miss Georgia Teen USA one day, probably in like 2032.
You're calling it now?
Yes, I'm planning it now.
What's the favorite go-to show on Netflix?
Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. There's a new pageantry show actually on Netflix. Oh, I always butcher the name. It's called like Insoluble, I think maybe. But it is a hilarious pageant show. It's actually based off a pageant coach in Georgia. So it's a really funny story about it. You have to watch it if you haven't seen it.
Is it fiction or is it a documentary?
Well, I think it's based on a true story, not necessarily like how the events fit, but there's a little bit of realness in there.
Okay. I also work with a lot of women, young women who have been going through tough times in schools. And I want to ask you, for someone who's going through a tough time and might be considering pageantry, I've had the privilege of interviewing 2 or 3 pageant queens who went into pageantry right after they'd been bullied, assaulted, or been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which I guess on the outside you never expect. Like if you're dealing with depression, to me, I would think the last thing you want to do is get up on stage in a bikini and have to smile. Can you speak to a little bit about if someone is considering going into pageantry, the empowerment aspect of you and how it helps build you up, as you said, into a confident young woman?
For sure. I think that what's very important to remember about pageantry is that a new woman is crowned every year. And that is because a different girl brings a different voice to this title. If there was only one kind of mold they wanted you to fit in, there would only be one girl for a very long time. So what I remember is that this title isn't made to define you. You're made to define the title. And so no matter what you're going through, if it's depression, if it's anxiety, whatever it is, use it to like glorify you, I guess. Take that and not only let it define you, but let it reinvent you and let it reinvent the title. I think that's what's really important for me to remember is whenever I'm going through something, the pageantry is something, you get on stage and you put yourself out there, but you put yourself out there with young girls watching you. And I always think I want my younger self to look at a woman who was fearful to get on stage because of XYZ, or would I want my younger self to look up to a woman who is owning herself and just ready to move forward with her life no matter what she's going through. And so I encourage them, get up there and do it for that little girl that you once were and the woman that you're going to become through this.
And you spoke about bringing yourself to the titles. So once your reign is over, and I know you're going into more, but what would you most like to be remembered for, or the qualities that you're most proud of in yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think that whenever I first got crowned Miss Georgia Teen USA, I wanted my legacy through doing this. The reason I did this, I wanted girls to see that no matter where you come from, if you believe that you can, and if you have the faith and incredible amounts of love and support, you can be anything that you once believed was unobtainable. For me, I never saw myself as Miss Georgia Teen USA. And actually, when I was like 10 years old, my mom took me to Miss Georgia Teen USA, and I sat in the audience and I saw a woman who now is one of my sister queens get crowned. And I never saw myself equal to her, or that I would ever be anywhere comparable. So I just want people to see that you don't have to be perfect to be inspiring. You just have to be real and honest to be. And that's what I want them to take away from my year.
Perfect. Let me just go back to the comments. Chelly, sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation, Chelly Warzella Duncan has written, "Hi Savannah, love you," and has written wave. You've got another wave from Val Bass, and Chelly has also written, "OMG, so beautiful, miss you, so proud." This must be someone that you know.
Yes, a lot of pageant sisters, pageant mamas.
Right, and she's also written, "The next Miss Georgia," I'm assuming GA is Georgia, "the next Miss Georgia, next Miss America, great answer."
Well, thank you. We will see one day.
Savannah, before we move towards the close, are there any sponsors? I'm sure you have some sponsors you'd like to thank, or just people who've supported you along your journey, because I know that for a fact it's never a solo journey. So anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, there's so many people, and I'm going to forget so many of them. Someone that I really have to give a thank you to is actually my mom. She is literally like my rock, and I would be nothing without her. I talked about my family being my rock, and she is a huge part of that. I have a brother who's quite a bit older than me. He's 30 years old, but he is also, even though we fight sometimes, we're siblings. He's someone I wouldn't want anything different about him. And my niece Mia, these people are the people that have been there for me before I was anything. A huge shower to South family. Shelly is a part of that. There is the largest preliminary in Georgia, and that's kind of like the title you want to be when you go to Miss Georgia Teen USA. And they have been nothing but supportive throughout my journey. Even in Miss Teen USA, they came to Louisiana to cheer me on.
Wow.
So those are the people that made me me, and so I love them.
Can I just ask a very random question? What was the last time you argued with your brother about?
Well, there's been a lot of those. My brother is a professional race car driver, so he actually drives me crazy, like literally. But he constantly gets on me because I always forget to do random stuff, like lock my door, like lock my car door, or like lock the front door. So that's a constant argument. So I'm gonna just lock the door. And it's a bad habit I have. I need to lock the doors.
Okay. You said he's a professional race car driver. Is that NASCAR?
No, it's actually drift car racing. So the ones with lots of smoke, the ones that go around the corners. Yes. You have to check him out on Instagram.
I will, because I love looking at that stuff. How is your driving, just as a side note?
Well, I'm a great driver. Super safe. I had to learn from the best. So I learned from a race car driver. So...
That's so cool. Georgia. I'm getting Savannah and Georgia mixed up in my mind. Savannah, before we move towards a close, what are the best social media details and platforms for fans to catch you on?
Right. So I'm mainly on Instagram, and that's at Savannah Miles or at Miss GA Teen USA. You can find me on there or on Snapchat at Savannah Miles 25.
Why 25?
Oh, just a random number. Savannah Miles was taken 1 through 24, so we ended up with 25.
Every time I see a number, I ask someone that question. Normally there's a reason for it, but yeah, sometimes it's just 1 through 24. Okay, so Savannah, I always finish my my interviews with the same 10 questions. This is about as pageant-esque as I get. So let's go through them and see what you say. So the first question is, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word, I'd probably say bless it. I say that all the time. Kind of like as a, it replaces oh my gosh, or how crazy. It's just bless it. So that's my favorite.
What about number 2? What is your least favorite word?
Probably failure. I don't really consider anything a failure, so I don't like the word to be used.
I can see you kind of twisting uncomfortably even as you're thinking about that word. Okay, question the third. In life, what excites you or what turns you on?
In life, I'm a firm lover of someone that is just their self. No matter what you are, just own it. And I can definitely respect that.
And what turns you off?
Probably someone that just really isn't himself, not genuine. I don't really understand that, so can't relate.
How good are you at seeing through how genuine people are?
I think I've gotten pretty good at it. I give myself a little kudos. But I feel like a person who is very genuine radiates that. And so it's very easy to pick up, I think, for anyone to pick up.
Okay. I just have a sudden urge to ask you, do you have any hidden talents? If there was a hidden talent show, what would your hidden talent be?
I'm double jointed, so my arm.
No.
I'm going to show you. Okay. So look at my arm.
Oh God. Oh, jeez. No. Oh, I just had a friend staying with me who said she was double jointed, and the whole time I was hoping, please don't show me, please don't show me. That's not normal.
Well, I got you now.
Does the other elbow do the same thing?
Oh, yes, they're twins.
Oh, are you sure you're a good driver? Looks like you had an accident.
Not yet.
Oh God. Okay. Fifth question: what sound or noise do you love?
Oh.
What was that?
Okay, so I guess this might be just in the States. So instead of okay, some of us say oh. So that's my favorite noise to make.
I thought the internet had glitched or something, or suddenly there was a bird in the background. I was like, can you do that again?
Yeah. Oh.
Gee, I wish I could roll my R's. Okay, how do you spell that?
I think it's like OKURRR.
I need to look this up now. Is this some sort of craze in the States, is it?
Yes, I mean all the teenagers do it, I think.
All right, I'm going to have to practice rolling my R's. What sound or noise do you hate?
Probably my alarm clock in the morning.
That's a fairly standard one right there. Seventh question. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Oh my gosh, definitely. I would love to be able to transport places. I think we spend way too much money and time on flights, so I would love to just snap my fingers and be anywhere in the world.
Perfect. Okay, eighth question. If you could try any one occupation, what would you pick?
I think for a day, I would love to be some kind of politician. I definitely respect their job. I don't think I could do that for my whole life, but I would love to get an inside look at what all goes down in an everyday life of them.
That would definitely be fascinating. Okay, ninth question. What occupation would you definitely not like to attempt?
I probably couldn't be a baker because I love anything sweet, so I probably would eat all the food. So probably I shouldn't do that.
You're actually the second person to give me that exact answer. They would love to be a baker, but they would just eat everything that they baked.
There would be no company. You wouldn't see nothing at my store.
So what is your favorite all-time dish or snack or meal?
Okay, so my all-time favorite food is a crepe. So I get strawberry and Nutella and bananas. Oh my gosh, it is something out of this world.
I wish you hadn't said that because I haven't had breakfast yet. Now I'm getting really, really hungry.
Now we have to find a crepe somewhere. I know.
Do you have a favorite crepe place, or are we saying that you make it yourself? I mean, you're always on the go, so it must be difficult to sort of actually eat healthy now that I think about it.
Well, I haven't found like my all-time favorite crepe place, but I will tell you that I one day hope to go to Paris, France, and I definitely have this vision of myself under the Eiffel Tower, crepe in hand with a little beret, and that's going to be an Instagram photo of mine one day, so be on the lookout.
I love how you want to go to Paris because you want to partly eat a crepe. I mean,
I think it's a valuable reason.
Sure. How many countries have you been to?
Not many. I know we were having this discussion the other day. I've been to a few countries like Canada, the Bahamas, Jamaica, but I've never been to Australia, for instance, or anywhere European. So it's definitely on my bucket list.
So you're taking a lot of flights inside the States then, between all the states?
Yes.
And how often would you find yourself on a plane?
Probably about, every other week, probably.
Wow, jeez. It's crazy. Okay. If heaven exists, this is the final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would love him to say that your Miss Georgia Teen USA crown was really pretty, but here's your eternal one.
Good answer. Now, just before we sign off, Elizabeth Asadurian has written, "Hi, big sister."
Hi. Yes. She has a daughter who looks like a baby Miss USA. She's super.
Perfect. Well, Savannah, thank you so much for your time and best of luck with everything. What have you got on for the rest of your day?
We're about to go to dinner, and then I'm sure tomorrow I have a photo shoot, so it's going to be a fun couple of days.
Any crepes at dinner?
Oh, well, I hope so. We will have to see.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll keep you on for just a second after we go off, but I want to thank you so much and thank everyone who's been watching, and we'll speak to you again soon.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming.
Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to get details of our new episodes as they drop, and connect with us on social at The Pageant Project. Speak to you next time.